asked me about how much of it mirrors my life.
Yes.
The other thing that mirrors my life is there's a big component of the story. It's been out a while now, so I think it's okay to have any spoilers. There's a big component of the story where the family lost their father.
Yeah.
Shortly before the show begins, and that is true. My
Yeah.
father had passed away about a year before, so when I wrote Pairings, even though it was about a guy who cooks to get women, it was on my mind, and it just became an important part of the story. And I think the reason that everybody got behind wanting to do Pairings was that scene. The very first draft that I ever had the scene where the family got together to remember their father and cook together in the kitchen, a dish that was simple but something that they'd done since they were really, really young, and cook that dish together and have the memories. That was always part of the script. It was always an important part of the show, and it's true. I mean, even though my father wasn't the one that cooked, we do. That's a meal we prepare together regularly.
What was it? It was chicken.
We call it chicken milanese growing up. Which,
Milanese, because you did the eggs, you did the flour, you did the breadcrumbs, and then you fry it.
She would
Exactly. She would know exactly.
So good.
Now we always served it with rice and gravy as kids, which is not correct at all for chicken milanese, and I don't do that anymore. But when we were kids, growing up, I think it was because my father really liked rice and gravy. Like that was one of his favorites.
But like gravy, American gravy, or
American
like?
gravy.
Oh, okay. I was trying to.
There is I have
Gravy
made
gravy.
amazing Italian Sunday gravy, and it is delicious.
Okay. Well,
oh, you did make Sunday. Oh, that was really good.
maybe
Anyway.
I'll have to try that.
It's good. It's basically you take a crock pot and put all sorts of pork.
Perfect.
And
Here,
sausage,
got it.
and there you go. And tomato sauce, and you just let it sit.
There you go. You can put it in, and it'll be ready tomorrow morning.
Exactly. Although that'll be Monday.
Yes.
So it'll be Monday.
So
It
it
wouldn't
won't
be
be good.
You
That's it.
have made it on Sunday.
Oh,
so it's
okay.
Well, I think the reason it's Sunday gravy is you put it in before you go to church, and then you eat it.
Yeah, So I have to ask one story
Yeah.
in the show. When you said, when your sister Addie said to you, do you remember when Mom said, or you remember when Dad said that like he was cooking on the boat, and like he was cooking, and there was a woman that
cooking on the boat.
sent back the food, and he promised her that she wasn't gonna have a bad meal the rest of her life.
You're gonna hate the answer to that story because it's totally fiction.
No,
we
really?
had been on a cruise later that year, and I thought it'd be interesting. We took a tour of the kitchen, and I saw the chef back there, and I know that it's a little bit of it's a way for chefs to get like a good start before maybe heading up their own restaurant. But it also has a little bit sometimes of a like if you watch Top Chef, sometimes the people who cook on cruise boats are discriminated against a little. Sometimes it's not considered as fine dining. So I thought it would be an interesting starting place for the father. So it was just me coming up with backstory and stuff like that. It wasn't. I don't have a.
I have to tell you why that story like resonated so much with me was because my.
I'm so sorry. It totally happened. That's how my parents met. My mom was a.
That's how my
chef.
parents met.
Really?
My parents met on a cruise ship. My dad was a bartender, and my
Oh,
mom
that is awesome.
was just hanging out at the bar, and it didn't happen like the food, but
still.
my father was at the bar, and he saw this woman that was apparently like friends of his cabin mates, because they all stay in the cabin like underneath or whatever, and he the cabin mate that was dating my mother's friend. They went on the cruise ship together. It was in Miami, and they went to the Bahamas, and then for the weekend, and then they went back because it's like right there. Anyway, and so my father really liked my mom. He thought she was really hot, and because she is 37.
37.
Yes, Dolores, gotta love her. So my dad was kind of a player, and he had all these letters to send to all of his American girlfriends. Well, he cooked, but he made great drinks, and he still does. But
I need to meet your dad.
Yeah, he's amazing. My father's like amazing. Anyway, so he said to my mom, I got the 13 girlfriends. I got letters for them, and he gave her a stack of letters for these women.
Wait, that's how are you born?
Listen. And he goes, do you want to be number 14?
I see something in Pairing season 2.
Okay, so listen, this is my favorite part. So
Wow.
my mom said, no, I want to be the one and only. And she left. She took the letters, mailed them, and left. And so he called her because, you know, the
Man.
cabin mate, like, had the connection. He called her and she said, nope. She said, but I think we'll see each other again because that's a very frequent, apparently in the 70s, that was like a thing. Like, a lot of people in Miami went on these cruise ships because they didn't, like, cost anything. And so he met her again. And it was like 6 months later, and he was like, so, what if I got rid of my girlfriends? And she's like, okay, she's from Buffalo, New York. Okay, Tony.
I was about to ask where your mother was from.
My mom is first generation American. Her parents came from Italy, and they went to Buffalo, New York. Anyway, and so then my mom moved to Florida. When she
Does your mom cook at all, or?
My mom cooks a lot, actually. She cooks more so like she bakes more than my father. My father doesn't really bake.
Which is they're very different skills. I don't.
Oh yeah, my mom makes the best focaccia I've ever had in my life. Oh my god, it's so good. Anyway.
I want focaccia.
Yeah, I know. I always want
We
focaccia.
have a
That's the
banana.
problem. Did you want the banana? Because
No,
it tastes just like focaccia.
Does it?
Mm-hmm.
That's a very odd tasting banana.
No, it's crazy. They're like special bananas.
They are. They're like
Yeah.
Willy Wonka focaccia bananas.
They're focaccia bananas
Okay.
from Venice Beach.
My improv training wants me to say yes and, which requires me to eat the banana, but I really don't want to eat the banana, do I?
I mean, if
The
you
audience wants me to eat the banana.
I don't want you to eat the banana.
All right.
I decided not to.
Thank you.
Because you know why? This is the last focaccia banana I have.
Good. I'm glad we have a good reason not to.
I can't do that.
I want to hear the rest of the story.
Yes, I'm sorry.
And so they had their first date that night, and my mom had to wait for him to get off work, which was like at 2 a.m, and she wasn't really much of a like person that went out a lot. So she's like waiting. And my parents went to go dancing because you know it's a cruise ship. It never falls asleep. Like it just everything's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And my mother and my father were slow dancing, and my dad was like, I was talking, and then I looked at her, and she was asleep. She fell asleep on his shoulder. I was like, Ma, really? She's like, I was tired. And I was like, really? Like, and I was like, Dad, you married her? He's like, I don't know. I had a lot of wine that day. I was like, oh.
They didn't marry that day.
No.
With the accents, I feel like I was there. Like that's man.
I mean, they're like such a comical.
There is absolutely no reason I can't tell more backstory and have that happen.
I mean, I really thought, like, that's the thing. Like, when I saw that in the show, I was like, oh my god, like, that's like, because you don't really hear about, like,
cruise ship,
like, backstories,
Man,
like,
for some reason.
so I, like, heard the boat, and I even rewound it to make sure that I heard it appropriately.
I hate that I don't have a better
I was like,
story for
I
you.
was so like, oh my god, like his dad worked on a cruise ship.
I
Like,
had-
that's like my dad.
Both me, so Jodie's been on a cruise a lot in her life, and we had just gone
Twice.
Twice. I'm sorry. I thought you'd been on several
She
cruises.
went on a cruise last week.
Your parents go on cruises a lot, so I thought you'd been more often. I apologize, but neither I or my brother had been on a cruise, and my brother he was the director of the show.
Yeah.
He also plays Drew, and so for some reason we just all had cruises on our mind, and that's
Because he had just gone on a cruise.
Oh.
he had just gone on a cruise. I had just gone on a cruise.
Yeah, we just had cruises on the brain.
Cruises on the
That's
brain.
that's funny.
Yeah. So thanks for disappointing me.
You're very welcome.
He's such a good writer, he can connect with
You can
anybody.
connect. That's a good answer. Oh my god, you were like his publicist,
That was also on like I don't think that story got in there till like draft 4 or something like that. It wasn't.
Really?
Yeah, it wasn't originally part of the script. Like that was something.
Well,
that I
it's
was
a great
rewriting.
story. Maybe you should.
Well, I was trying to make the parents more real, and I wanted to bring it into the.
That was
so-
real. And you know, have you seen the movie Big Night?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yes.
Do you know what I'm
oh
talking
God,
about?
yes.
Actually, we did a lot of
We did a
research.
huge
I mean,
movie.
we'd
yeah.
seen a lot of food movies, but we like food movies, but we did a bunch of research right before we started shooting.
Yeah.
So we watched, he'd never seen it, but I'd seen it, Eat, Drink, Man, Woman.
Yeah.
It was an amazing movie.
Have you ever seen What's Cooking?
I've never seen What's Cooking.
It's a great Thanksgiving movie.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
actually.
All right.
And we were talking about
Happy
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. Watch What's Cooking.
What's Cooking?
Well, it's about 3 different ethnicities and how they celebrate.
3? 4.
4?
Yeah.
Asian.
It's every corner of the block. They're
Oh yeah, there's an African American family.
Jewish.
Oh, is it Jewish?
They're Jewish, African American,
Asian,
Hispanic,
and
yeah.
Oh my boyfriend's Asian, so who doesn't live in?
But you just ruined the end of the movie.
No, how?
I didn't know. I can't. No.
I didn't catch it.
Really good.
I didn't catch it.
Don't you just watch it?
Let's let it
I was about to tell the story, but I'm not gonna tell that story because then it gives it away.
Yeah. But Thanksgiving is coming up. This is the Thanksgiving episode.
And what are you making?
What are you making, Ed?
I am making for Thanksgiving.
Yes.
So what's weird is because we always have Thanksgiving dinner at one of our families. I only made a turkey like twice.
Oh.
Like weirdly enough, I made a turkey when we lived in Australia abroad because Jodie studied abroad and I joined her and lived in Australia in Sydney for about half a year. And we
that's
brought
horrible. You had to go to Australia.
We had to see kangaroos and whole koala bears. It was horrible.
That sounds
But
awful.
the food was delicious. Although it's very hard to be vegan. Not that neither one of us are, but we had a friend that was vegetarian.
Oh, I was like, what? Okay.
Off topic.
At any rate, so
Focus.
I made a turkey there, and then one time when we actually, just before we went on the cruise, we were on the cruise for Thanksgiving weekend, so I made a turkey to celebrate Thanksgiving beforehand, and I did like a bourbon, I brined it in bourbon and barbecued it, so I actually put it on a grill and barbecued it for like a few hours, and yeah, that was
Oh my
delicious.
god, that sounds like that steak you made that one time. That bourbon,
Something similar.
sugar.
It was like bourbon and brown sugar.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I say I brined it in bourbon. I had it was water, sugar, salt, and bourbon and brown sugar. Yeah,
It sounds delicious.
Yeah, it really does. It sounds really good.
But I won't be making the turkey this year because my brother's going to be making that. Since we're having dinner at his place, I'm going to make a pumpkin stuffed with everything good,
Yeah.
which I got from Dory Greenspan, who does Splendid Table on NPR. I don't think it's her recipe, but she covered it at one point. And so basically, what you do is you take a pumpkin. And you hollow it out just like
pie pumpkin, like one of the.
No. That's only if you want everybody to have. If you're
That's
doing
true.
it for Thanksgiving, you take a big pumpkin.
Okay.
That's the original recipe. And you can find this recipe at $5feast.com or maybe in a future season of pairings. And so you just hollow it out like you're gonna make a jack-o'-lantern for
Halloween.
And then you take bacon that you've cooked and bread and sausage and
cheese,
walnuts and Gruyere Swiss
Anything
cheese,
you
anything
want.
you want, really, chives, and you just take all that and you shove it in the pumpkin. You top it's not good for you. You top it with cream.
You top the pumpkin with cream?
You basically fill it until there's kind of the whole
You
thing
pour
is
it
swimming in
inside.
a little bit of cream, like not too much.
Oh,
just
inside the pumpkin.
inside the pumpkin.
Oh, okay. Do
So the pumpkin-
you skin the pumpkin at all? Oh, okay.
So you're just literally taking this whole thing that's now all that bacon and bread and cheese goodness. Basically, it's almost like you're making like a bready risotto inside the pumpkin.
Okay.
Well, because you can use bread or you can use rice.
You can use rice. I like it a little bit better with like bread or cornbread, but you can use rice.
Wow.
I've done it once, and so you don't want it to be like drowned. You don't want the ingredients to be drowned, but you want them to be kind of softening with the cream. And then you're gonna. I don't remember off the top of my head how long and what temperature you should put it at. I think it's about an hour at 350. But you put it in for about an hour at 350 in the oven. You leave the top off at first, and then when you get about 45 minutes in, you put the top of the pumpkin back on, and you just let it cook. And then when it's done, you just put it on the table, and you can literally just take a knife and it slides straight through the pumpkin. That's how you know
like
it's
it's
done.
a pie or
Yeah.
a cake. Yeah.
And you just serve that whole big chunk of pumpkin with all that stuffing just straight onto somebody's plate, and it is delicious.
It is
Holy
delicious.
crap.
It's
And
really
she might be making a dessert because I heard it was requested by my brother.
You know, it wasn't officially requested. I'm just gonna bring it because I know it'll make him
Okay,
happy.
you should. And let's talk about that
It's
dessert.
it's an apple pie. Although I have a problem with pie crusts because they're not easy and they're not exactly everybody's favorite part. So I just say screw it.
Yeah. I get it.
So instead of I just do no pie crust and the apple pie is Dutch crunch top.
Oh my god, you guys.
So with the apples, you have to peel the apples, cut them up into typical apple slices, and put them in a pot, and you kind of simmer that, just the apples and a bunch of sugar.
Yeah.
And butter,
And-
right? Butter? No?
No butter. Sugar,
recipe.
apples, cinnamon, and ginger.
The ginger is the thing that really makes it.
Ginger really makes it, yeah, definitely. And just kind of simmer that until like all of the
Because it gives
juices
it
come
a
out.
bite
Yeah,
that
yeah.
pies don't have, yeah.
Scoop out the apples, stick them in a separate bowl and reserve them, and then you pour in some cream and you reduce that down. I know it's a lot of cream. It's really healthy.
We're health cooks.
This is actually a recipe that I kind of modified and got from America's Test Kitchen.
Okay.
And so you kind of reduce that whole like delicious caramely goodness down, pour that back on top of the apples, put that in whatever you're going to be baking it in, and then make a Dutch crunch top, which is just brown sugar, softened butter, flour, and a little bit of cornmeal.
I've never made it.
A little bit of cornmeal.
Wow.
Just put that, all together, massage it with your hands, and then put it all over the top and bake it. That's what I'm.
And serve it with ice cream,
So-
preferably.
Oh,
Yeah, serve with whipped cream and ice cream.
Either or, yeah. Both.
So low-cal.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Weight Watchers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I do try and eat healthy, but Thanksgiving is one of those
No,
holidays.
you can't. It's just, no. You can't do that.
It's all about the cream.
Yeah, it's all about the cream. My God.
Apparently so, I didn't realize.
Yeah, oh my God. And
So
that's like
a couple days before Thanksgiving, all the grocery stores will be out of cream because we cleaned them out.
That's awesome. Wait, so heavy whipping cream? Or just like cream, like...
For the pumpkin, it doesn't matter so much. I mean, cream is what you need to use, but it can be heavy cream.
Yeah, regular cream is fine.
It's fine.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be.
It doesn't
heavy
be
cream.
heavy.
Although
They
you might
both-
want some heavy whipping cream just to make some whipped cream to put on top of it later.
As a matter of fact, one of the things that's very good, we actually make it in. I think you can find the recipe on our website, pairingsseries.com, because we make it in pairings. Is bourbon whipped cream, where you whip cream, you add a little bit of. So you just do it by hand, where you take heavy.
But you don't
whipped
actually
cream.
make it. You just.
We don't make it in the show.
No, you just see it getting spread all over your body.
By a woman in lingerie. Yeah.
What better way to have bourbon whipped cream, you know?
But it is good if you just add like a little teaspoon of bourbon into your heavy whipping cream and with sugar to make whipped cream. It's delicious.
So just so you know, that scene where he's getting whipped cream getting splattered in the face
Is
is
bourbon.
Is
homemade
whipped cream.
bourbon whipped cream,
Yes.
and we've got pictures.
Which
of
we didn't
it.
need to do. Like
No,
we totally
You
didn't need
totally
to make
did not
bourbon
need
whipped
to
And
do that
by
at all.
we, you mean you.
Oh my God. So did you cooked all of that and then
He did.
you
All.
Well, okay, I do want to make it. So it was important to me. I've seen a lot of web series creators because in the web series world, you often wear several hats, and so I wore the writer hat, and I wore the producer hat, and I wore the actor hat. I did not want to be a producer on set because I've seen that before, and I've seen the actor be too stressed out to give a good performance. I didn't want to do that. So luckily, between my brother being the director and my wife being able to be the executive producer on set, I could actually just show up and be an actor for the most part.
Yeah.
I did have to do the food styling to some degree too, but luckily Alan was doing all the cooking, so I was part of the character to do the food styling. So I did most of that cooking was me on set. Even if somebody else did the cooking, that was mostly me. With the exception of the sushi, because we went to Sushi Central, which everyone in LA should go to because
We
it's very
love
delicious.
Sushi Central.
Oh, do you really?
I don't know.
Oh, we love Sushi Central.
Sushi Central. It's over on Overlands in
Oh
Palm.
my
Yes,
God,
and we
I love
that's where we
Overland.
filmed all our sushi scenes, and the owner of the restaurant was very nice, and he made sushi for us.
Philippi.
Yeah, Philippi.
Oh really?
And his wife, one of the things is oh man, I'm getting off topic again, and where we need to get.
Holly.
But his wife Holly works there. She's one of the few being a female sushi chef is a big deal. We specifically wrote in a female sushi chef in the show because it's a big deal in Japan where it's kind of a taboo to be a female sushi chef. Because
Really?
technically you run 2 degrees hotter than men, and you can ruin the fish, which is total bullshit. But as Holly pointed out, the sake that all the sushi chefs are drinking probably keep them 2 degrees.
Oh, now you're gonna bring her into this and blame it on her.
This is why my wine is gone.
At any rate, it is a big deal, and not only is Tali a woman, but she's Israeli. So she's actually if you go to Sushi Central, oftentimes
Oh really?
it'll be Philip making stuff, but she is an Israeli Caucasian woman who makes sushi, and it is delicious, amazing sushi.
Oh my God. Yeah, it actually really made me want to have sushi. Wait, okay, so talk to me about season 2.
Well, what's
And-
crazy, I think one of the reasons we're punchy is because we actually just came from a promo photo shoot for season 2. The photos will be out probably right about the time that this airs.
Oh, perfect.
But we went into the studio. We had Alicia.
Santi Steven.
Thank you for saying the last name.
Alicia what?
Santi Steven.
Cynthia Steven?
Yeah, she does a lot of food photography.
Oh, wow.
And so she came out. We did an homage to the Last Supper. So we
Oh
have the whole
my
cast
God.
arranged, and we did this giant spread of food.
That's amazing.
And did an homage. We also got some shots of people singly. There's a shot of me and my brother having a lightsaber bread baguette fight, and things of that nature. So we had
Stuff
some
like
fun
that
afterwards.
happens.
But yeah, we had a good time getting a lot of fun shots. And so we did that, and we're gonna try and shoot in January, season 2. When this airs, we will probably have just started a crowdfunding campaign of some sort to get some extra
Awesome.
funding for the. I mean, we have some sponsorship. I can't announce anything specific
Oh,
yet.
okay.
Well, no. We can announce this. Shug
I
is
Shug
definitely helping us out.
We love Shug.
But
We really do, actually. I'm really excited about this. I'm sorry.
but
go
we
on.
won't have enough money to get to completely fund the season, so we'll be doing some crowdfunding right about this point. We have a fundraiser coming up, and we're hoping to do an Iron Chef-a-thon as a
Oh my God.
as a long, like, all day streaming
Yeah.
fundraiser as well, which will be fun. So we have a few things in the air, and then hopefully we'll be shooting early January through early February.
Wow. Okay. That's awesome. Are you guys like totally stoked? Because you guys were filming in
2012.
2012?
Wait, no.
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
You
No.
released in
We
2012.
released in 2012, but like
We,
late
and we shot.
2012.
No, we shot in 2012 and released in 2012.
That's true.
Yeah.
We shot early 2012 and released late 2012.
So you took a little bit of a hiatus.
We did. Like, I would have loved to have turned around faster, but
Our hiatus was, going to festivals
And yeah, getting
submitting
promotion.
and in
shows.
fairness,
Yeah.
I don't know that most people, like, most of our attention came kind of early in the year, so I don't think people have even realized that there has been much of a hiatus yet, even though we released. I think
That's
it
fine.
got on people's
That's good,
radars in the beginning of the year, so
Yeah.
yeah. I want to make sure we ended the season on a cliffhanger, and I
You
owe it
did.
to people to know how the story ends.
Are you getting all of the same actors?
Oh, yes,
hopefully?
everybody
Okay,
do.
good. And then, where was like your most successful platform? Like I saw that you guys were on Coldcast, you were on Blip, you were on.
Coldcast was probably the most successful platform, I would say, largely because they wanted to launch a food and cooking channel.
Oh, wow.
And they decided to wait because they wanted a fictional cooking show because we like to say we're the first fictional cooking show that was ever created. There was one that came out right about the same time.
Of course.
We love them very much. Their Comfort Food
Comfort Food, or is it-
Comfort Food is the British one, and they are amazing, but they were not the ones. It is Set the Table.
Set the table.
Set the
Set
table.
the table.
Set the
Set the
table.
table.
Okay, so there's a couple of food shows out there at this point that are fictional, but Coldcast wanted a fictional food show, and they were going to make their own, and then they found out about us, and they decided to make us their kind of flagship show to launch their food and cooking
That's
channel.
awesome.
It was very generous of them, and we got a lot of success because of that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.